The film begins in New York City, where John Wick and his pit bull have taken asylum with the Bowery Lord. John is punching a board until his knuckles drain, and BK comes in to inquire as to whether he is all set after the high table. John essentially says, "Definitely." John goes to Morocco, where he pursues men working for the senior riding a horse. Subsequent to killing those men, John defies the senior for his ring. However, John is informed that the ring is no more. John then continues to execute the senior prior to withdrawing. Back in New York, Winston and Karen are gathered by the Harbinger to meet the Marquis de Gramont, who was sent by the High Table. They have learned of the senior's execution, and the Marquis chides Winston for neglecting to kill John. Accordingly, the Marquis has the New York mainland denounced and exploded. Winston is considered excommunicado, and to focus on it more profound, the Marquis shoots Karen in the chest. Winston stays by his companion's side as he kicks the bucket, saying it ought to have been him. In Paris, a visually impaired professional killer named Kane is remaining in the recreation area as his girl Mia is playing the violin in the recreation area. Kane is called upon by the Marquis to pursue John. Kane says he has resigned, yet the Marquis undermines Mia's life, assuming Kane declines the sets of the Great Table. John heads to the Osaka mainland, oversaw by his close buddy Shimazu Koji. Akira is his attendant. Koji meets with John on the rooftop, consenting to give him asylum covertly, despite the fact that Akira has no faith in John being there. Before long, the Marquis's right-hand man Chidi shows up with his hit crew trying to draw John out. Koji's own men appear and go head-to-head against the high-table professional killers by terminating bolts in the murkiness. At the point when the contract killers come to the rooftop, John gets his weapon and begins to do what he excels at. While Koji's gatekeepers can fend off the greater part of the Great Table assassins, Kane shows up and starts his own body count, laying out snares to assist him with hearing where his objectives are moving prior to utilizing his sword and weapon to kill the men. In the interim, Akira joins the battle and executes a portion of Chidi's men, yet she winds up having chance and injured. John assists her and Koji with getting out while he keeps on battling more men, incorporating taking out a few with a couple of nunchucks. He is found by Kane, both of them seeing each other as previous companions, so Kane is hesitant to pursue John, however does as such for Mia. John and Kane momentarily battle before John figures out how to move away. In the gunfights, a tracker, Mr. No One, and his German Shepherd are close by, and he kills a portion of the shooters pursuing John. He needs the agreement on John's head as well. However, he guarantees that the ongoing hit, $20 million, isn't sufficient, so he is at present aiding John. As Koji and Akira are running out, they experience Kane. He and Koji are likewise lifelong companions, however, Koji will not permit Kane to pursue John, so they participate in a sword duel. At the point when apparently Koji is permitted to leave, he continues to battle until Kane conveys a lethal blow. Akira holds her dad's body as he bites the dust and endeavors to get his blade to kill Kane. However, he exhorts her against it so she doesn't face a similar outcome as her dad, and he tells her he will see her in the future. Akira goes to the train station where she tracks down John, faulting him for her dad's passing. She advises him to kill Kane, or she will. Winston meets with Bowery Ruler, as the two of them realize them actually being near John makes them targets. In the meantime, the Harbinger converses with the Marquis over the pointless gore at the Osaka mainland. Yet the Marquis says it is important to kill John Wick, yet to obliterate the possibility of him as an unapproachable and unkillable figure. The Marquis is then visited by Mr. No One, who requests a $23 million agreement for killing John. The Marquis answers by skewering his hand and compelling him to pick either threatening to use the blade out, or hauling his hand out to see where his desires lie. Mr. No One hauls his hand out, cutting between his fingers, and the Marquis consents to respect his solicitation. John meets Winston at Karen's burial place, giving his sympathies for the deficiency of his companion. Winston needs to get back at the Marquis, so he advises John that to win his independence from the High Table, he should provoke the Marquis to a duel, despite the fact that it is accepted that High Table duels were just fantasies. The main individuals who can uphold John in his undertaking is his family. However, the Ruska Roma tore his ticket and disavowed him. Seeing no alternate way, John consents to search them out. John goes to the Ruska Roma in Berlin, where he is welcomed with a shotgun shoot by the cleric before he is restricted with a noose around his neck. He is met by his receptive sister Katya, who is irate with John since his killing of the senior drove the Marquis to arrange the execution of her dad Pyotr, who might have supported John in the duel. John offers to assist Katya with vindicating himself, and she arranges him to pursue a German high table part named Killa, the one who killed her dad. John goes to Killa's club, where Kane and Mr. No One are additionally there in the wake of finding John. The three sit for a game with Killa, where Killa cheats prior to having his men pursue the three professional killers. While Kane and No One stand their ground against the hooligans, alongside No One's canine, John pursues Killa all through the club amidst absent clubgoers. However, Killa utilizes his solidarity and weight against John. Killa pushes John over a gallery, however halting him isn't sufficient. John ultimately corners Killa and thumps him over a flight of stairs, sending him falling until he crushes carelessly onto the ground, killing him. John then, at that point, takes one of Killa's gold teeth as verification of his demise and carries it to Katya, who responds favorably and assists John with going through the function where he is marked with the family's peak and given help for the duel. Winston visits the Marquis with the authority challenge record from John for the duel. Regardless of the Marquis attempting to deny, Winston advises him that he is as yet bound to the high table and its traditions, so he should proceed with it. Also, that's what Winston requests, assuming that John wins. Winston will never again be excommunicado, and his mainland will be uncondemned and revamped, figuratively speaking, with his administration re-established. Nonetheless, the Marquis reminds Winston that he will be John's second, so assuming John bites the dust, so will he. John shows up to plunk down with the Marquis as the Harbinger directs them to examine the states of the duel. They will meet at the Sacré-Cœur in Paris at the crack of dawn, and will duel with firearms. If both of them neglects to appear on schedule, it will be a programmed relinquishment and reason for execution. Kane will be the Marquis' second, and he consents to permit him and his little girl free on the off chance that he can kill John. John goes to a congregation where he sits to honor Helen. Kane meets him there in a well-disposed way, enlightening him concerning Mia and what he needs to lose. John later meets with Winston and Bowery Ruler, the last option giving him another weapon and indestructible suit. The Harbinger helps the Marquis to remember what might occur inside the high table, assuming he were killed by John. To guarantee that John doesn't come to the Sacré-Cœur on time, the Marquis conveys Chidi and his hooligans to pursue him. A radio DJ likewise declares to other listening professional killers that the abundance on John is set for any individual who can kill him before dawn. As John advances toward the Sacré-Cœur, scores of professional killers pursue him. He goes head-to-head against shooters in the roads, in any event, getting into the traffic around the Bend de Triomphe, shooting the troublemakers or allowing them to get hit via vehicles. The high table monitors his whereabouts, prompting more professional killers pursuing him. John enters a distribution center loaded with troublemakers and flames unstable rounds at them. Simultaneously, No One aids take out a portion of the professional killers and contacts the Marquis, requesting a higher installment. The Marquis eventually consents to a $40 million agreement, tricking out more frantic and bound contract killers. John at long last comes to the means, paving the way to the Sacré-Cœur, killing a few additional professional killers before Chidi appears and thumps him as far as possible back down the means. Kane makes an appearance to assist John with getting to the top, assisting him with killing Chidi's folks. No One shows up too, battling Chidi on the grounds that he tossed his canine into traffic. However, he's okay. With John's assistance, Chidi is cut down. The canine tears into him in the balls, and No One places a slug in his mind. Just in case, the canine additionally pees all over. John makes it simple, minutes before the sun rises. He and Kane snatch their guns as they participate in an outdated duel. Both figure out how to hit each other 2 times. On the 3rd round, Kane shoots John in the stomach, however, John doesn't fire. The Marquis then, at that point, orders that he guarantee the death blow so he might be the one to kill John Wick. He snatches his weapon and holds back nothing. Winston lets him know he's a haughty butthole and reminds him John didn't shoot his last round. The Marquis understands this past the point of no return, before John blows his head off. The Harbinger then, at that point, pronounces that both John and Kane are liberated from their commitments to the high table. John returns down the means and momentarily contemplates Helen, saying her name before he slouches over. John Wick bites the dust, a liberated person. Winston and Bowery Lord cover John close to Helen, with his gravestone perusing adoring spouse, as he mentioned. BK inquires as to whether he thinks John is in paradise or heck, to which Winston answers, "Who can say for sure?" The two leave with BK proceeding to care for John's canine.